Late night television is in a full-blown collapse. It may not last very many years longer, but you already know that. Today, we're bringing you something new. It turns out that David Letterman decided to stop on by the Jimmy Fallon show, and the whole joke was how bad things are with the funny men of our modern era. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the place that keeps you learning and laughing along the way as we continue to explain the Holly Weirds in a way that they don't even understand themselves. Folks, we're going to get started. Click the like button. We'll show you why it is exactly that you can already identify late night's demise. They know it. We know it. David Letterman shows it, and we'll show it to you right now. As we have reported here, late night TV has been in a serious free fall. Ratings have been crashing. It's so bad that Greg Gutfeld has often been outscoring the entirety of the rest of late night all by his lonesome in terms of audience numbers. So David Letterman shows up to kind of try to save the day for Jimmy Fallon. Let's find out how that went. This is from today.com. It says, David Letterman makes surprise appearance on Tonight Show for first time in 3 decades. It was a comedy moment decades in the making. All right, let's watch it first, and then we'll give you our thoughts on what's really going on here and why it's a bigger story. Remember, this wouldn't be the second story out the gate if Letterman just came on and did a pitch for some book he's got and made a few jokes. Here's what really happened. Here we go.
Say that too loud, or there will be a 23 hour. Dave back in late night. Jimmy offered him a chance to get back into the groove, reading some jokes on cue cards, and here's how that turned out.
Hi, how are you? What's your name? Roman. Roman. First night?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Now, what the bit is, since we've been thrown in the middle of it, these are jokes, and it's a skit. I get that. Like, none of this is real. But the setup is that these are jokes that have been written for Fallon to read. And Letterman is looking at the jokes, which Fallon would typically read off these giant cue cards, and you'll see how it goes. Here we go.
Okay. All right, go back. Let me see that. Come back. I'm good, thanks.
All
right. So the joke here is that the jokes are so bad on late night TV that Letterman, who was successful in his late night run, he refuses to read them. They're not worthy of being said out loud. And this is actually a larger condemnation of late night TV. Now, once again, folks, late night TV has turned into partisan fare. And I know that towards the end of Letterman's career, he could have been blamed for going a little too partisan, but that's nothing like the screeds we see with Kimmel and Colbert. Now, Jay Leno, I think, largely stayed away from it. Carson, of course, was attempted to be nonpartisan. It was a place for everyone to gather around. You could call it the watering hole, right? It's where predator and prey come together, where R's and D's can stop on by and have a good time and laugh together. It's a shared cultural experience. And then that is the cohesive thing that holds our society together. Nowadays, about the only thing we have left is something like the Super Bowl, where everybody, regardless of your political affiliation, joins in. But Letterman giving that condemnation. And Christian, I want to go to you first on this, because the only way that is funny is if everybody admits late night's not funny. Otherwise, the skit makes no sense. So it's actually built into, when they came up with that, they had to know that the audience preemptively agrees with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why jokes land, because the people have the knowledge going in. Listen, I think the dirty little secret of late night is that the Tonight Show is the crown jewel of late night landscape for decades. And now Jimmy Fallon is behind Gutfeld, he's behind Colbert, he's behind Kimmel. I mean, he's taken this show, this iconic show, and dragged it through the mud. And part of that is that Fallon can't be fair and balanced. He tried having Trump on the show once, and he was skewered by his buddies in the press and on the left. And so he was basically re-educated to become part of the resistance. And the problem is that his heart isn't in it. So at least if you're going to watch Colbert or Kimmel, you know you're a hardcore progressive and you want those talking points. But with Jimmy Fallon, he just doesn't really have the intensity. So you get watered down anti-Trump. You get no jokes against the Democrats of consequence. And so why would you even bother? So it is a fading brand. It's a fading franchise. They went from 5 shows a week to 4 shows a week. And it's just part of the whole decline of this landscape. And if Jimmy Fallon had just embraced the Leno Carson model, maybe he'd be doing much better. It's certainly worth a shot. But right now, it's just embarrassing.
Well, you're exactly right. And I had not told you I even had this chart. So we're in Simpatico right now. This is out of Screen Rant. And they're comparing this year versus last year in terms of viewership, and they're going from the appropriate time last year to the appropriate time this year. So, folks, we're not pulling any shenanigans here with, oh, well, you pulled it from election viewership when the election drives viewers. So, no, that's not happening. This is from January, February to January, February last year to this year. Take a look. Gutfeld is up almost 30%, and then Watch What Happens Live, which I don't even know what that is down 27%. But Gutfeld is up 30% essentially. The Daily Show, well, the Daily Show is up 53%, but that actually makes sense because of the personnel changes that have happened. So totally makes sense. But take a look at this. The real late night shows, the ones that you associate with being late night television, Jimmy Kimmel is down 12%. Colbert is down 8%. Jimmy Fallon is down, if you round it up, 17%. Late Night with Seth Meyers is down 13.6%. All of these shows, all of this genre outside of Gutfeld and The Daily Show are down. Now, they don't have Bill Maher here, so we can't make any kind of guesstimation as to what's happening there, but everything is dropping, and I think that late night TV, unless they make a change to get away from partisanship and back into humor, I think it's over. Blaine, do you get that sense that it's just flat out over if they don't make this shift?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it kind of comes down to that whole thing of what Breitbart said, with politics being downstream from culture. But it's been the polar opposite for so long now that it's like we can't even see straight anymore. It seems that culture is nothing but politics, and it feels sterile and gross, and people are disinterested in it at this point. Nobody wants to go to a show where they're wanting to decompress and wash off the day and then just get pummeled with the same crap that they've heard all day long. We've lost all culture. It's really wild that we're at this point where it's almost that the counterculture is conservatism, because we live in this culture with no rules, no boundaries, but at the same time, there are, and it's like this specifically known thing. It's so odd. We're in such a weird place, and if they don't get away from it as fast as humanly possible, not only are all these shows toast, but all entertainment is toast. Everything can't be politics.
That's so good, because you think about going on to watch a mainstream news show to hear what you view as your counterculture. Like, they viewed themselves as the counterculture
Right.
for so long. And it really isn't. When the government approves of what you're saying, you're not counterculture.
Well, if the government's directing what you're saying, you're not counterculture. I mean, we just talked about the USAID thing. It all fits together so nicely. And I think I was in front of a lot of this. I think Christian was. I think a lot of us were in front of this, pointing out that this is not a coincidence. Not all of these, rowers in this crew are rowing this well together. This is impossible. It doesn't happen that way. We no longer had investigative reporting. So, you get into this when it comes to this side of the equation of entertainment, which apparently news was entertainment, which I didn't know. No, news became entertainment. It became scripted. It became, well, these are the only things we're going to report on today. We don't want to, drop this truth bomb over here because it might wake some people up. And I think that was happening too fast.
One quick note. I mean, I knew they would fail the test, although a little part of me hoped they would pass it. But when the California wildfires happened, and it was so obvious to everyone that there was gross incompetence on a grand scale, and it really, it just cost people lives, their fortunes, and late night TV couldn't raise a finger to mock either Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass, even with that URL gaffe, which was the most obvious gift to satirical comedians in years. They ignored it. And so even if you're on the left, even if you hate Trump, even if you vote for Kamala, if you see things like that, there's got to be a disconnect, just a sense that they're not on your side. They're not telling the truth. They're not speaking truth to power. They're just going to cover up for people. And I just think that accelerates their decline.
and
Right.
sponsored by Pfizer.
They're Pravda jesters, right? So the jester's role in the court is to speak in a pithy manner that brings forth the truth to the monarchy, right? The jester is the voice that gives voice to the downtrodden and speaks it out to the powerful. It's the antiseptic. It's the forecursor to free speech. And in this case, our late night TV hosts have decided that they're there, and perhaps we just should say that the corporate overlords have decided that they're actually there to be mouthpieces for the oligarchs. Now, I just wanted to say this, Vash, and I'll get your thoughts on it. I don't know if they intended to do this. I don't know if it was staged this way, but the symbolism here is wonderful. Poor Jimmy Fallon. And by the way, I think Jimmy Fallon is the least offensive of the hosts, right? Kimmel and Colbert are much worse. But did you notice that when they're putting the jokes up that are so dull and so boring that Letterman refuses to even read them, that they're covering up Fallon's face with those jokes? Like mediocrity has swallowed up Fallon as Letterman looks on and says, no, I think I'm good.
Yeah, this is really quite something, because you can see Letterman, his disdain. Like, yeah, these wouldn't make it on my show. These wouldn't make it to air. These are low quality jokes right here. I don't know if that was part of the bit or not. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely consistent with Letterman's style. And honestly, it really does speak to what everybody on the panel has been saying, which is they are very much out of tune with the culture, right? They can't even resonate with their audience anymore. They're so removed from it. And so it's no surprise that ratings have been going down and people have been looking for alternatives, whether that be gut-filled or somewhere else, in order to be entertained at all. And here's the thing. People will argue, well, we have so much competition now. We have the internet, we have Twitch, we have the TikToks, we have everything, right? And it's like, yeah, I mean, we had a lot of options too, back even, 20 years ago. We had cable, we had the rise of the internet and all that. People were still watching late night. I mean, these late night shows were still getting huge ratings because kind of everybody knew that it was a shared cultural experience that you had to be a part of. And now they're so removed from the larger culture that nobody's jumping on board there. And it is sad, because we used to have a lot of, like Pro mentioned, these shared cultural experiences that we all kind of engage in. Now that's completely lost outside of the Super Bowl. And even when that happens, well, we have Super Bowl 59 halftime shows. So there you go.
Well,
By the way, give Jimmy Fallon some credit. At least he hasn't cried multiple times on national TV.
At least there you go.
Absolutely. And folks, I want to say in regards to that Super Bowl halftime show, whatever your thoughts on it were, just remember that the ladies of the View somehow think that you're evil incarnate. I don't know how that's possible, but they do. Jonas, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up this topic today?
No, I was just thinking, I've never actually seen Jimmy Fallon do a stand-up bit, but I know what David Letterman's sense of humor is. He's a guy that even if he didn't have a celebrity on, if he didn't, like, if he would do a bit and it would be funny. I remember him doing coffee tortillas. They're excellent. Like he's a man who is funny, and Jimmy Fallon is a living laugh track. Heaven help him. I still don't know how he got into the position that he is, except that he seems to be an empty vessel that they'll just put people in front of and he'll giggle at whatever they say.
Well, that's the funny thing about Fallon. You could put in the cowbell skit, right? The Blue Oyster Cult skit with Will Ferrell. Fallon's job wasn't to be funny. Fallon's job was to sit there and giggle in the background. And what a strange way to rise up. Culture, your thoughts?
No, you're 100% right. Look, he had a great agent. That's how he got that job. He had a great agent. Somebody owed him a favor.
Lauren liked him a lot.
Yeah, and the second thing is, the Super Bowl was entirely fake, that halftime show, because Kai Cenat came out and called it out and said, I was sitting in the front row. There was no crowd reaction to this terrible halftime show. This is
the cheers and all that.
Yeah, he's like, this is one of the top streamers in the world, and he's there calling it out as fake. So you know what? The ladies of the View that are part of ABC News are not news, nor entertainment, nor accurate, nor
tell me that they avoided the booze at Taylor Swift on purpose.
Hey, I'm just going to say that. Wait, they're about to read a legal note over there. I'll be right back.
All right, folks. Conspiracy Casino will rejoin us in a few moments. And put another one in the can, folks. A video of excellence has been birthed into existence. and you were there to witness it. Thank you for participating. We hope you had a good time. Folks, it's a great time anytime we get to share time with you, and we mean it. The only thing additional we ask, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below, and oh, by the way, if you would be so kind, perhaps share this out on your favorite social media platforms. Folks, we've got all kinds of content coming your way. If you are interested in going even beyond all of that, well, there's a pro store, and you can always find those items directly below the video you're watching. The pro store, it's a cool place to check out for items that, well, definitely Disney and the rest are not going to sell you, but we're happy to do so. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.